Back in the day, for better or for worse, when a game was released, that was it. It was done. But nowadays, with developers having the luxury of early access and patches, the idea of adding more content to games at a later date is just the norm. Now, it's one thing to add DLCs to make the game better, but sometimes games get released that just, well, aren't finished. And you know what? It's been going on a while. I'm Joe Hendry from What Culture Gaming, and this is 7 unfinished video games that got released anyway. In at number 7, Assassin's Creed Unity. Oh my, where to begin? I mean, even if we can look past the massive frame rate issues and the completely broken PC port, the game has some issues across all platforms that just cannot be ignored. The game was clearly about halfway finished when it got shipped off, because why not? It's not like anyone will notice. I mean, no one will notice the random running on the spot, floating, teleporting citizens, climbing invisible ropes, or falling into the abyss for no reasons. And how about those hilarious cutscenes? One in particular allows you to kiss your lady friend through your jacket, and sometimes people's faces are completely removed, but their eyes and mouth are still there, making it look like a cross between fictional assassination reenactments and a sequel to Mars Attacks. In at number 6, it's Sonic the Hedgehog from 2006. This has to be Sonic's darkest hour, even if we can ignore the awful bestiality storyline centered around the relationship between a grown woman and a teenage hedgehog. The game physics don't work. They just don't work. They don't work in the loops or on the slopes, and you can find yourself grinding infinitely, passing straight through obstacles, and not only that, NPCs are a mess. There's a boss fight with Silver where you can get launched so far out the boundaries of the level, yet end up in space. That's right, space. And if you stand on certain boxes, you'll also be sent directly into space. Not only that, you can also take advantage of Silver's powers when he's a controllable character to skip massive parts of the game. All in all, this game is just an absolute blasphemous ball of nonsense. In at number 5, it's Battlefield 4. And Battlefield 4 in theory sounded like the ultimate shooter. It gave you the freedom to explore these vast military environments, hijacking vehicles and destroying your opponents in a whole host of creative ways. Well, that would be if you could actually get to the fun and get yourself into a match, because when EA released Battlefield 4, it was pretty much impossible to actually connect to the server and, play the game, which is kind of a basic requirement when you've just shelled out top dollar prices for Battlefield 4. The updates were arduous, it was grueling, it was draining to get us to the point where the game was playable, but what was the reward? Glitches, glitches, and more glitches. You can get killed by people with 0% health, and not to mention the various sound issues. Bad EA, bad EA. In at number 4, we're going to a retro title now, and it's Superman 64. The N64 had a plethora of top quality games, especially in the 3D platforming genre, so if you wanted to enter the market, you better make an impact, and that's exactly what Superman 64 did. But it was for all the wrong reasons. Look, even if we ignore the disgusting and dull, monotonous environments that make flying around an absolute chore, which should be the most fun element, there's really so many parts of the game that just weren't finished. You would find yourself regularly walking out of the environments into an infinity of nothing. Trying to fly through the rings in the sky was a frustrating mess, the combat is disgusting, and Superman's walking animation looks like it has 2 sprites. That's right, sprites. His legs are hardly moving. Guess what? Gravity doesn't work. In at number 3, it's Fallout New Vegas. Now, I know we're going to get some flack for this one, but hear me out. As good as the Fallout franchise is, there's issues with New Vegas. Some of those issues that impacted upon the game are NPCs could randomly disappear, but also become invincible, making certain missions impossible. Let's talk about the completely broken AI, the infinite animation loops, and so many glitches that some fans have made a hobby of discovering new ones. Not only this, there are known bugs that can delete your entire game save, which can be especially painful when you're playing an immersive game like this one. However, to be fair, it is really quite difficult to get immersed when there's glitches just often enough to remind you that this is all just a game and it doesn't really matter. Thankfully though, this was an isolated incident and there were lessons learned from the experience. Wrong. In at number 3, it's Skyrim. Now again, same thing applies here, but even more so. This is an amazing game, but it has problems. This game also used the infamous Bethesda engine and transferred some of its problems over to the Skyrim universe also. Well, actually there's theories that are in the same universe, but we'll leave that for another video, shall we? NPCs' faces are missing. There's a door in the game that's supposed to open but just stays shut, because why not? It blocks you from completing the mission. Lydia can randomly morph into a werewolf, and there can also be issues stopping you from buying and selling goods. Also, let's not forget about the infamous Greybeard's Wrath glitch. All you need to do is upset a Greybeard to the point that they freeze you and you fall off a cliff, at which point you will start to spin uncontrollably, contorting yourself into ridiculous shapes. Unfortunately, an unlucky few also encounter similar game issues from Fallout New Vegas that can be permanent and delete your file save. That being said, it's still ace though, just a touch undercooked in the debugging department. And finally, the most unfinished game in video game history, if that is really something to be proud of, it's of course Big Rigs Over the Road Racing. This game is so horrendous that it has become legendary. It is widely regarded as the single worst video game of all time. Big Rigs has gone out of its way to be terrible. Now, we've picked up a lot of games on this list for their lack of attention to detail in the debugging stage, but this game has issues in every stage. Perhaps one of the more hilarious aspects of the game which needed some more attention is the game physics. So little effort has gone into this that if you drive your truck uphill, there is zero change in resistance. So you can go uphill at basically a 90-degree angle at full acceleration. Not only this, you can accelerate in reverse at an infinitely increasing speed, meaning that no matter how powerful your PC is, if you continue to drive in reverse on Big Rigs, your vehicle will reach such a ridiculous speed that it will inevitably crash your PC. Let's not forget that you can also drive through any and all obstacles. Oh, and also, your opponents don't move. And if that wasn't enough, if that wasn't bad enough, one of the levels just doesn't work. That's right, it just doesn't work. There's a stage in the game that if you select it, it will crash the game. That's how broken this game is. And I need to take a break. Thank you so much for watching this video. I've been Joe Hendry from What Culture Gaming, and if you want to get more content like this, please make sure that you go over to whatculture.com where you can get all your favourite news, reviews and features. Also, please make sure you like, share and subscribe, and follow us on Twitter via this Twitter handle. Thank you so much again for watching, and I shall see you next time.